You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt? Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky, office space, let me block your blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-Black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. This isn't another book about what racism looks like. This is the blueprint of how it was built, who profits from it, and most importantly, how to dismantle it. I spent years connecting dots that they never wanted connected, following money trails that they thought were buried, exposing the machine that runs on our oppression. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge is liberation. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
If you have not been tuning in before, my goodness, you've missed out on a lot. Broke boy, but with potential. What made you realize this tough life is for me?
I deserve it. Because main money is special.
I'm single. But you don't like to be alone now. I'm looking for a guy to break my heart.
Well, as long as they're Nigerians now.
Watch Slay Queen Nigeria, only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke. We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff. No filters. Just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream this evening. We are happy to be here with you. I hope your weekend was real good. It is the 15th of September, ladies and gentlemen, the 15th of September. So we're going to get into it tonight about your boy Trump. Your boy Trump has signed an order to send the National Guard to Memphis. He pivoted from Chicago, but now he wants to go to Memphis. So we're going to get into having that conversation tonight. And I appreciate all the new people that joined us in the past few days and over the weekend. Thank you for doing that. That's for sure. Also, make sure to get our book, a new book in Amazon. I appreciate all the people that have bought the book. And also download the ADNC app. That's also very important. And you can get a monthly subscription at minimum. It's like supporting us 31 cents a day. On the app, ladies and gentlemen. We're still working on some things behind the scenes, so stay tuned. All right. But before I really get started with the situation with President Trump and what he got going on in Memphis, let's pick up a little bit what we left off from last week, just to kind of give a closer, right? So we know what happened with the situation with Charlie Kirk last week. We're not even getting into that. But what we are going to get into is this. All right, it's a new week, and we got a whole lot more things to be discussing than that. If you wasn't discussing the man prior to what happened to him, don't even discuss him now. We see they trying to get some wind out of that and being silly. So look, we know as black people, whatever we talk about, we make relevant, and whatever we don't talk about, they become obsolete. Okay? So it's time, just like when we said as a collective group of black Americans, all right, man, we done with that diaspora war stuff online. We're not even engaging that no more. We done with it, right? And then black Americans shut that down, and now do anybody talking about it? No, because we shut it down. We say it's enough of that, right? Same thing with this. All right, that's enough. You shutting that down because we got our platforms are dedicated to what we got going on. The man been saying the things he been saying. There's nothing new. We don't care. We got our issues, and let's dedicate our media to what we got going on. That's their issue. Has nothing to do with us. That's white on white crime. Definitely has nothing to do with us. So let's get the ball back in the court. What we got going on here, ladies and gentlemen. So hold on. Let me go over here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're not going to try to take too much of your time, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to try. All right, your brothers and sisters in Memphis, you on the spotlight now. You all on the spotlight now. I'm not silly to not know that Memphis, yes, they got some crime in Memphis. We have to admit that. We definitely do. You know, one of the most recent crimes. I say recent, but it's been a little while. When young Dolph was gunned down out there in Memphis when he was going to get some to one of his favorite spots he'll go get cookies from, right? And the ops pull up on him and gun him down and all that sort of thing. A lot of this stuff been going on in Memphis, right? So we know Memphis do have a crime problem. It's come on, we got to be honest with that. But the way Trump and them wants to handle it doesn't really solve the problem. And we'll get to what really solves the problem here a little later, based on a chart that based on some research I was doing out of Chicago. But let's get to President Trump, and let's play what he want. He gonna do. Let's go ahead and cue this up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, before we do, make sure we do that. Class has started. Cause we're gonna learn something. Anybody who's new, we always ring the school bell because we learning something here. We're not just talking, but we learning. All right. So So let's go on and cue this.
Standing with us, as you know, I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, and it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them, step by step, just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now, and we're going to keep it that way. It's our nation's capital. We're going to keep it that way, or we're going to federalize it if we had to, but we don't have to anymore because it's in such great shape. This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here. And you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work, and it brought some of the numbers down, and they did a great job, but we're sending in the big force now. We also sent them into Chicago on a sort of a moderate basis, and we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next. I was with a great businessman, a man who is involved in all cities through his business. And I say, who do you think should be next after Memphis? And he said, sir, you've got to save Chicago. We're going to wait a little while. But he said, you got to save Chicago. You can't let it go. And this is a very prominent man that everybody knows in this room. Another man in Memphis was saying, Bill, he was saying, very interesting, he's on the board of FedEx. And his hotel is about a block away. And he said, when I walked there, I said, you know, I don't want to do this again. I never want to do it again. And they won't let me walk there. They take them in armored vehicles. They take the board members of FedEx in armored vehicles like a block away to the hotel. This shouldn't be the U.S. This shouldn't be the United States of America. The task force will be a replica, as I said, and it's going to be, I think, equally successful. This is a tremendous success we've had in Washington, I can tell you, and everyone knows it. And people in the White House that work here and other people that I know are calling me and thanking me. They're going out to dinners. They're doing things that they haven't done in years. The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals, and more along the prosecutors. We're going to have DOJ led by U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee, who is here or not here? Who's that person here? That person is going to be very busy. So we're going to have U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee, and most importantly, Pam Bondi's here. She's heading it up, and she's doing an unbelievable job in every respect beyond this. So also worked with some of the members of the team right here on D.C., and we're very proud of that effort. We essentially had the crime down to a very low rate in 12 days, and within another 10 days after that, it was so incredible. And it continues at that level, and we're going to continue. We have to because it's our capital. This team will deploy the full powers of federal law enforcement agencies and enforcement generally to restore public safety and get dangerous career criminals off of our streets. We're going to get them off. In 2024, Memphis had the highest violent crime rate, the highest property crime rate, and the third highest murder rate of any city in the nation. Other than that, they're doing quite well, thank you. A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City. It's been, and you know Mexico City is not a cakewalk. It's been overrun with carjackings, robberies, shootings, and killings. There were 249 murders, 429 rapes, 5,616 burglaries, and 12,522 violent assaults in just the last little while in 2024 and in pieces of 2025, where it's actually gotten worse until recently when we sent the FBI down to see what the hell is going on. Last month, a vicious thug carjacked an elderly woman parked at the movie theater, dragged her out of the car, and body slammed her into the pavement, where she is still trying to recover. Probably won't be successful. So we're not going to allow this kind of savagery to destroy our society anymore. We're stopping it. We're doing it one by one, time, but we want to go quickly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you heard what Trump had to say. I'm still haven't heard nothing about the National Guard going to Salt Lake City, Utah. I mean, because have you looked at the news out of Salt Lake City? all the crime that happens down there, and he's not going to send nobody. But you know how that goes. They're not trying to stop the crime in the white states like Utah. No, they're trying to go to places like Memphis. And like I say, I'm all about stopping crime. But let's do it across the board. That's what I say. Let's do it across the board. That way, you know, listen, you got to send them to Salt Lake City just so you can make it look good, right? Just make it look like you are just kind of even across the board. But they at a point, they're like, look, we trying to get black people in the streets. We want black people protesting. But y'all understand, they are just wanting us. This is what they want. Now, I'm tell you what they want. They want black people out in the street like we were for George Floyd. That's what they want. Because in their mind, they're like, we can get black people back on the street, then we could do what we really want to do to them, right? But they can't do what they really want to do to black people because we're not out there. You understand what I'm saying? So I guess they plan to, well, let's go occupy these cities with a lot of black people in them. Let's harass them. Let's do this, that, and the third. And that eventually will get tired. And then somebody's going to do something. And then we could try all our ideas we want to do to black people. You understand? So don't take the bait. Don't take it. They trying their best to piss black people off. See, we messing the system up a little bit right now. You have to understand, when we're not in the mix, it messes up the status quo. Because you have to understand, black Americans are very important to America on a positive way and even on a negative way. We're very important to America. They to justify certain industries they have, they need black people, even the prison industrial complex. If black people take a step back from everything, a lot of industries will crumble overnight. And we actually have the collective power to do it. We just have to be nudged a little bit, or a horrible tragedy have to happen for us to do it. But these people, you know, and I'm going to give some props to Joy Reid right now. Yes, Joy Reid. I know a broken clock is right twice a day. Joy Reid went in on them, her last live stream I saw. And Joy Reid had pointed out something that, you know, you say how they just so upset and they not happy about anything, because she was saying that basically it's true. They got the White House, they got the Congress, they got the Supreme Court, they got rid of DEI, they got rid of affirmative action. You know, they letting people go off their jobs like they want to. Say anything they want to do, you know, sending the military to these cities, anything they wanted to do, and they still not happy, they're still angry, right? And they're angry because even, you know, it's kind of like, I got what I wanted, but I'm not happy with it. Sometime in life, people have acquired things they thought they always wanted, and they weren't happy with it in the end. Because without black people, you have to understand, part of that culture is being oppressive. And if you can't be oppressive to the main person you've oppressed for over 400 years, it's not fun. It's not worth anything. It's just like, what are we doing? You have to understand that it's fun for them to oppress black people. It's fun to harm us. That's fun, actually. That's part of the culture. That's what we do. Remember, these are the same people that will go to their church, and I got to do a whole stream about that. They'll go to their church, and then right after that, they'll be, selling tickets to go do something to a black guy. I got to watch how I say it on this platform. To go do something to a black person, if you know what I mean. Okay? These are the same people. So us staying out their way, removing ourselves from everything, we're robbing them of what they just naturally like to do. Yes, they're messing with the Latinos now a lot more than what they ever have messed with Latinos from what I've ever seen. I mean, I seen a video today. ICE went to the freaking car wash, and they had this Hispanic woman, you know, with towels in her hands, trying to run from my poor lady couldn't run, not her, and they caught her so easy. She, you know what I'm saying? Like, they showing up everywhere to go get them. You understand what I'm saying? So they targeting them. They got a whole thing with the Supreme Court. They can target people based on their race. They can target you based on your language. I mean, just violating all kind of laws, right? That's how far they've got it. And yet they're still not happy with it. Why? Because really we're the main target. It's not Latinos or Asians or anybody else. It's us. Because those other groups got governments and embassies that can back them up. We don't have no government and embassies that can back us up. You know what I'm saying? When ICE and them raided that plant out there in Georgia and all them Koreans got picked up, the Korean government got involved with that immediately. If they go gaffle up 300 black people, we won't have no foreign government to be trying to get involved with the situation. That's the difference with the foreigners versus us. So since we've been staying out of the way, how can we get them outside? How can we get them outside? What can we do? What can we do? We're not liking this. You know, the Democrat Party is fractured because we walked away. Because, you know, last night, LaSherica had made a video even talking about that, where because we're not in the mix of the Democrats like we once were, the party's in shambles, and they can't operate without black people. So the Democrats are in shambles. They upset about that. The Republicans are you know, they got everything they want, but they're not really enjoying it because they can't really oppress us because we're staying out their way, right? So it is a strategy. It is a divine strategy to just remove ourselves. But in the scriptures, God has told his children many times, stay out the way, stay in the house. I'm going to work outside. You stay inside. Relax your nerves. Chill. That's actually biblical. Now, let's get to some Memphis residents real quick about how they feel about Trump. Now, this is a couple of days before Trump signed this, but he's been discussing he's going to send the National Guard. So let's hear what these particular brothers have to say.
On a beautiful Wednesday afternoon in Overton Park, many Memphians are enjoying themselves, while others, like Gerald Tabor and Cortez Wells, are contemplating the future of the Bluff City after rumors of the National Guard coming to Memphis.
You're here to bring chaos, bro. It's already bullcrap here, enough bullcrap. They're gonna bring chaos because people feel like they're being targeted at that point.
Gerald Tabor says local and federal officials should be looking at the root causes of crime instead of bringing in the Guard.
In order for you to have to think about crime in Memphis, you have to get to the root cause of the crime. Where there's poverty, there's going to be crime.
Tabor added those resources could go into building the community.
Put more effort into trying to rebuild a community, creating jobs and stuff that, you know, fill people's time. So put them people in that type of situation, what do you expect them to do?
And while FBI Director Kash Patel has called Memphis the homicide capital of America, Tabor feels that if the police can't fix the crime, what will the National Guard do?
The police ain't fix the crime, and they paid to do it. What is the National Guard coming here going to do?
Now, that brother said at the end what the National Guard is going to do. In the end, nothing. Trump isn't coming there to solve the problem. He's not. He's coming there to be aggressive. He's coming there to, you know, get illegal immigrants who's in the city. He's coming there to cause chaos. Once again, I support getting the criminals who's actually, you know, all these, I'm sorry, look, they got some YNs out there that's wreaking havoc in the black community. I take no issue with the YNs that's wreaking havoc to be out of there. I take no issue with that because they're killing too many people. We talking about our people, right? I don't have no sympathy or nothing for a black person killing another black person. To me, you're no different than a Klan, to me. You know what I'm saying? You doing the work of the Klan if you out here killing other black people. And for what? Not because it's some self-defense or something like that. No, you out here doing some stupid things on these streets. But I was doing some research and just putting some things together this morning because, you know, I'm always researching different things and talking about crime. And the brothers say what the National Guard going to do, and they're not solving really the problem. Well, see, there's a reason why they want to keep black people low income, okay? The main reason why they want to keep you low income is because it's statistically proven, if you're low income, it's a greater probability that you would be in the prison industrial complex. If you live in low income areas, you either gonna be a victim of crime or you're going to be participating in something, whatever, right? So these people, even the police is not there to even solve those problems. They're there to contain those problems, but they're not there to solve the problem. They're not. So in Chicago, for instance, let's look at Chicago for a minute to show you what I'm talking about when it comes to crime based on income. So if you look at here, now this is some estimated violent crime rates in Chicago by predominantly black neighborhoods. Now, if you look, they say violent crimes per 100,000 residents, okay? So if you look at where the lower income areas would be, or high poverty, Inglewood and Garfield Park. It's out here in Chicago. And people from Chicago can correct me if I'm wrong here. But they're saying here 1,200 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. Okay, that's in Inglewood. That's the highest. And then you have Garfield Park, 1,000 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. Now these two are considered low income, all right? But then when black people get to the middle class, look what happens. In Chatham, which they say is considered middle class, that's 450 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. You see how it goes from 1,200 down to 450? And then you go to Hyde Park, which is middle and upper class, 300 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. Now, let's say Chatham and Hyde Park, though those two areas right there don't even equal to one. Well, yeah, no, it don't. It don't even equal to one Garfield Park crime rate. And the more you keep going up in income, the lower the crime rate. So it's safe to say that as long as we are low income, we're dealing with higher crime. But every scientist, every person that track crime, all of that have been preaching this for years. You can take this in every city and look at where black people are staying in low income, and then go into middle class or middle upper class and look at what the crime rates are. Now, you're never going to get rid of crime. Crime is going to happen. But you can lessen crime by doing one thing, becoming middle class. At minimum, middle class, you can go higher. But that is the solution for black people. What is the difference when you are in lower income versus middle class? Lower income, you don't have the educational opportunities. You're aggressively policed. Okay, you're aggressively policed. Well, what else happens in those areas? You know, the drugs. It's a higher probability you're going to be a victim of a crime in the lower income areas versus when you go to a middle class. And a lot of us have went from lower income to middle class. Okay. And when we got to these middle class areas, the first thing we do is what? Move out of the low income areas because we don't want to be subjected to a crime rate of 1,200 per 100,000 or 1,000 per 100,000. And if you live in these black areas, you know good and well you're going to be the victim of the crime. It's not going to be other groups. It's going to be other black people, right? So if we get our people and push our people to the middle class and up, we're a lot safer. We have more opportunities in middle class areas and up. Way more opportunities, more education, steady employment, right? Benefits. We put our children in better schools. We don't have them in bad environments where they got to be dodging gang members and all kind of other things. So Trump sending troops to Memphis doesn't solve this right here. It doesn't get the low income area down to this. And every city has this, okay? Every city has this. But that's how you solve the problem with crime. You get people out of low income and you push them. Look, Trump, this is what he can do. If he truly wanted to get rid of crime, bring the National Guard in. And at the same time, you bring in people that can teach all these people skilled trades. They don't got to go to college. Just a skilled trade. Skilled trades get you out of low income to middle class and higher. Skilled trades. And say, look, not only I'm going to clean the crime up, but I'm gonna get all these people come sign up. You're gonna go to school for about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, paid for by the government. You can get your CDL, or you can get, we're gonna teach you plumbing, we're gonna teach you carpentry, we're gonna teach you how to lay roads, things that the country need, right? We're gonna teach you everything that the country need, and you can get that and start getting to work and helping build your community and make it better. Because if you have a better Memphis, you have a better America. That's when you're trying to solve a problem. Go get the criminals. I'm with it. But then at the same time, you gotta go and kill this thing here. You gotta go and teach people so they can make their own money. Throwing people in jail don't work. Listen, we've seen that. Listen, what he's doing is right after the 1994 crime bill was signed, okay, because I'm definitely old enough to remember it. Once the 1994 crime bill was signed, 12 was acting a fool in all these cities, okay? But it wasn't the National Guard. What he's doing is that on steroids, okay? That's what he's trying to do. And throwing a bunch of people in jail don't solve the low-income poverty problem. Government can do a whole lot to get companies. Look, prime example. Trump put pressure on private companies to get rid of DEI. So if he can put pressure on private companies to get rid of DEI, he can put pressure on companies like schools, to telling the schools, hey, you can get this many people in to these programs, teach HVAC, teach whatever, then we're going to give you some government, subsidies. We're going to give you big breaks on taxes, whatever. It's a lot the government can do to get everybody to work skilled trades. Listen, I know some people want them high-end, college stuff. Listen, the majority of the jobs that's going to get you employed quick is the skilled trades. It's not for everybody to go to some 4-year college. It's not for everybody. The majority of America is not college educated anyway. So go and get a certificate. Go and learn how to weld or do something, right? Something with your hands. A man, definitely a man, need to know how to work with his hands. A lot of them brothers on the streets, put them to welding. That's good money welding. Get them brothers in construction. Let them go work some shutdowns or something. But you also got to get rid of your prejudice that you have about criminal records. If a man served his time, a woman served their time, and they are off parole, they should be able to get any job they would like to get. Now, I understand if the person was a bank robber. I don't think they may want to put them in a bank, even though they did their time. The bank kind of has a right to say, I don't know about that or whatever. But okay, fine. Not the bank. But everything else, yeah. Let them go work. You got a lot of people who got criminal records that can't get a job. Well, hell, people don't have a criminal record, can't get a job these days. But still, there's a lot of people, then they end up going back to crime because they got to eat. So there's a lot of things that President Trump and the government can do to help the situation, but they're not here to make sure everybody's working and all that sort of thing. That's not what they want to do, because if they get everybody working and get those crime numbers truly down, then the prison industrial complex is not going to be in non-existent, and they're going to have to start closing prisons. And prisons is big business in this country. It's big business, and y'all got to understand that. Private prisons is big business. These people do not have a vested interest of really getting the crime to zero or very minimal. They don't have a vested interest. Not when your money, your hands all tied up in private prisons. That's the wickedness of what happens in this country. That's why we have so many people incarcerated. It's all about making money. Now, this one sister right here, she living in D.C. So those of you in Memphis that may see this video, I want to play what she has to say just to give y'all a warning on what's to come. And I want to talk about pandemic protocols after that. So let me go and cue up what this sister has to say here.
As a person that has lived through this for like the last 5 weeks here in DC, it is something like you've never seen before. Things like you didn't think would occur in America will occur. And so, just from my perspective, I'm going to try to be quick. When the National Guard comes to your city, it's not just the National Guard. They're going to come with HSI, which is Homeland Security, the FBI, ATF, DEA. And they will force the city of Memphis to enact the police department, and they will work alongside these people. So the first things you'll see is just the National Guard. They're gonna put up roadblocks on a lot of major city streets. That'll be like your Winchester, Mendenhall, Austin Peay, Germantown Parkway, Lamar, different spaces like that. They're gonna set up these roadblocks, and they will indiscriminately pull people over. Just everybody get over to the right, and they're there. They want to see your ID, your registration, your insurance. Who are you? They will search your car. They will ask you to get out. And it may not seem legal, but under this federal thing, it's absolutely legal. So if your registration isn't right, you got bogus tags, you got drive outs, you will be pulled over. And in such, many people who are in those circumstances may have small bench warrants. They may have tickets or a suspended license. They are going to, if it's arrestable, they will arrest you. If it's extraditable, they will extradite you. It's going to be the most pettiest things, but they will definitely take any and every action. It's going to feel like harassment because it is harassment. And the bigger piece is immigration, or people they feel are illegal immigrants. So they will target high Latino and Hispanic neighborhoods. That's all of the Mexican restaurants. That's off Jackson Avenue. That's Parkway Village. They're going to be there with ICE. And ICE is super, super aggressive. Many of them will be masked and in unmarked cars with regular Shelby County tags. They get cars. They'll have like a Mississippi tag. They're straight putting whole human beings in the back of cars. You're screaming. You're asking, where are they going? Who are they? And many of them, I would say 90% of them, will not give you any information. They will target illegal immigrants, and they are looking for black men with guns. They are looking for black men with a little weed in their pocket. They are looking for black men that have any outstanding warrants, that are targeted in any investigations. This is their time to find you. So you will see marshals, ATF, people coming into high crime like apartment complexes or neighborhoods. And it's all in the morning, it's in the evening, it's the element of surprise. And they really try to antagonize the people. So here in DC, of course, they was cussing their ass out and going straight to war with them, recording them, posting the recordings, telling people where they were. But for me, I would say I changed my driving patterns. I was work, school, home, very basic, to eliminate interactions with them. And also, it will put a damper on nightlife. It will put a damper on going out to eat, because you can be sitting in a regular restaurant, minding your business, and in comes the FBI and all their equipment.
Okay, let me stop this real quick. So she said that basically they're looking for brothers. They got, you have any warrants. If you're an illegal immigrant, they're looking for your paperwork. If you carrying that pistol on you, they're looking for that. If you're out there carrying this, smoking and all that, carrying that on you, they're looking for that, all right? So she's warning y'all. She's warning y'all about how they dressed. She's warning y'all about roadblocks. She's warning you about all that. So take into account what she's saying.
Man, and it's just, again, something you've never seen before. So I encourage people, do not ride dirty. I don't care if it's legal to have your gun. You might want to leave it, tuck it, make sure you got it in the trunk, the box, locked, because they will find any and everything. And it's very scary. It's a very scary thing to have mass people come into your neighborhood and police it in such an aggressive way. So I just kind of wanted to share my experience. I do know that people feel like crime in like a DC, a Baltimore, Memphis, Chicago just out of control, and we got to do something with the YNs. All true. But the way this administration go about it is so hostile. And I know my people, I know Memphians, and I just beg people not to be incited by this. And you're not going to see a lot of people that look like you and that can relate to you. These are going to be people they've imported from Mississippi, Texas, Homeland Security from Florida. And these are people that have a certain mindset. So I try not to be on the internet all political with my views because I have a plethora of them. But I think it's important that people know that life as you knew it, policing, government enforcement as you knew it is totally different. I had a friend debate me and argue with me. They can't do that. They can't do that. They can't. They do. They will. It's scary. It's people who stop coming to work. Kids stop coming to school. Restaurants are on the brink of closing because people do not want to feel like they can't dine or go out or enjoy themselves without being accosted. And so if you think it's just the army coming, I mean, after, 5 or 6 weeks of being here, 450 immigration arrests, 100 guns seized, they kind of died down. It was nothing for them to do. So if you see people on TikTok and stuff saying, oh, they're putting down mulch, they're cleaning, they were. It was nothing left for them to do because it was so aggressive. And here in DC, a part of the culture is sitting outside. Marijuana is legal. Sitting outside with open containers, smoking. Those were the main reasons that they would walk up on people. So the people just kind of course corrected. People went inside. People weren't on the block. Because, at any time, I mean, I have a friend who went to a corner store, parked their car across the street, walked back to her car, 6 cars of ICE agents blocked it in. Like, these are just normal working class people. And so if you think, I don't know what people think this is or what it's going to look like, but it's something you've never seen. And it breaks my heart to say it, but the people are really powerless. If you see the news in DC and stuff, yeah, we march, we rally, we protest every week. But when the National Guard and the federal takeovers come to your city is at the mercy of them. And I'll say this before I wrap up. My mayor here, Mayor Bowser, and the Mayor Paul of Memphis, their hands are really tied. No one is agreeing to this, but I can tell you that if they're coming to your city, it's because they were threatened financially, that they would take funding. Here in DC, it was $178 million in infrastructure and road work. They're being bullied, and especially black mayors and black cities, and they're being forced to make decisions that they don't want to for us. And it's a really bad look, and they're in a tough position. But people have never seen the federal government come so localized, and it's extremely scary. If you go on TikTok or IG under like DC, you'll see them like the people here, they're going to protest, they're going to fight back. So they're cussing them out, they arguing with them, they checking them, they joning them, they on joke time, because it just became this big misuse of time and money and really putting a lot of fear into communities. So that's what I just wanted to share, and I just beg people not to engage, to have your shit together, your license or whatever, here, and go home and come back, stay out of some of those areas. And if you know you have immigration issues, you got warrants, take your ass in the house. You need to switch up how you get to work, where you're staying, because they know.
All right, so that sister came out of D.C. and she was just trying to tell you what the play is before they get there. Now, if they're going to occupy your city, and she said you really can't go out like talking about because the way they mess things up, you can't go out to eat, you can't really do a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? They go out only basically if it's necessary. I say, well, shoot, just go back to the pandemic protocol. Remember how that was? We chilled in the crib. We chilled at the crib. We didn't go everywhere. Everything was closed anyway. See, what people gonna have to do, I thought about it. This country only understand one thing, money. That's it. And if people say, okay, well, I'm not really going to be out spending money. Like, when I say spending money unnecessarily, like going to a restaurant is unnecessary spending. Grocery store, you can cook everything at home, right? Don't go to no establishment, no businesses, unless you got to work. And the whole time they there, basically you like a lockdown. You're not spending money. Trust me, the cities will start noticing and say, wait a minute, every time Trump come here, we lose billions in revenue the whole time they here. Like, nobody wants to come around the city. Nobody is out doing anything. The lounges are empty. The clubs are empty. Nobody want to go out to an event because they don't want to be harassed. Nobody wants to deal with anything. Trust me, the more and more you do that, it start hurting the corporations. That's basically you got to hurt. You got to hurt the corporations in order for Trump to change his tune. Because he'll change his tune if the billionaire class start telling them, hey, man, all that mess you're doing in the cities, that's hurting us financially. You got to chill with that, because that's the only people they listen to. It's the billionaire class. But I see some people saying, "Oh, well, we know this." And like, a lot of people don't know what you know, bro. Oh, sis, they don't know what you know. It's a lot of people that's new to this. They've never seen this before. Most of us haven't seen this mess before. Now, of course, we've seen the police be heavy-handed. Yes, we've seen the police harass. Yes, we've seen that definitely as black people. But not at this scale where you have all these feds running around. That's not something that we normally see in our communities. But all of this mess about going to different cities, we need to solve our own crime issues. In other words, I think somebody earlier said something. I don't know, something they were saying. Let me see if I can go back to that comment. What this person was saying earlier. Where is that comment? Where's that comment? Come on. I know I saw this comment. God, where did that comment go? Something about Trump. Hold on. I'm trying to figure this out. Hold on. Okay. All right. Well, you say Memphis has the highest crime rate by far in this country. You can be oppressed by the government, no doubt, but you can also be oppressed by criminals. Listen, I know Memphis got a crime problem. I know. I looked into it. Hold on, I know. And them coming and doing certain things like that, if they're going to get the criminals out, go get them. I'm with them. Go get all the criminals you need. Put them in jail and get them out. Get them off the streets. That's how I feel about it. But here's the thing. When you messing with ordinary people and harassing ordinary people who aren't criminals, that's when I take more of an issue with it. That's what I don't get involved in the immigration thing. I ain't got nothing to say about that. But I'm also talking about black people. And then the comment I saw earlier was something about the YNs or whatever the case may be. And something about Trump don't like when have I ever said Trump likes me? I'm not white. So why would he? I don't need Trump to like me. I don't need nobody to like me for that. I'm telling you right now, I am very cool being alone. I've been a loner. I've been great to be alone for a very long time. Okay. Now, of course, I have a family and all of that, but I don't need a friend. I don't need white people to like me. I don't need white validation. I never seek white validation. So I don't know what you're talking about Trump and liking me or whatever. It don't matter what I do for a living. I'm not a white person, and I'm glad I'm not white. I'm happy to be black. I really deal with all the problems of being a black man all day. I would never want to trade to be them. No. I wouldn't want that guilt on my shoulders every day that I got to live with. No. With this, as black people, we don't walk around with a perpetual guilt. We don't have to walk around and say, I don't have black guilt. We don't have to say that because you're saying it because you do have guilt. That's why you're saying it. You denying you have guilt. That you denying, you trying to lie to us, but you do have guilt. Every time you see black folks, you got guilt. Because you didn't make it right. You're always looking for ways to try to hurt and harm black people. Last week, when what happened to old boy last week, y'all was hoping it was somebody black. Talking about y'all wanted to talk about a civil war. That's just your violent nature. Black folks ain't trying to go. Unfortunately, black folks would treat each other like you treat white folks, then be all right. But once again, a lot of these areas where the YNs are acting a fool at are low-income areas. They're not in the middle class and upper class areas of Memphis. You cannot tell me they in those areas doing a thing. You say, Queen, say you're happy to be nappy? Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm cool because at least I know, Lord bless, I get older. I don't look 10 years older than what I am, 15 years older than what I am, having dark skin. I love it. I love it. If I had went, which I'm not, but if I went back to coloring my beard again, you know, you wouldn't know. You know, you see, I'm okay. I'm middle aged now. You got these grays on my face. But if I was to go back and color it all again, you wouldn't know. But I'm cool. But I'm cool with my gray beard now, though. I'm cool with it. That's progress. That's how I look at it. Because, you know, a lot of people I know didn't make it to the point they got gray in their beard or gray in their hair. There's a lot of people I knew that died. Hell, a lot of people I knew died during the pandemic. I didn't make it. So, hey, man, it's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. So your boy Trump say he coming. And, yeah, y'all get ready. Memphis, get ready. If you riding dirty out here, I'm not talking about a criminal, but, you know, maybe you got some warrants or traffic tickets or whatever the case may be, some sort of warrant. It ain't got to be nothing bad. Yeah, you probably need to stay out the way because they pulling everybody over and basically a checkpoint. They pulling everybody over, checking everybody's info, and if you got something going on, they're searching you. You like say they don't care about, you know, you tell them, well, I don't consent to a search. They don't care about that. They're violating your rights. That's why I'm saying when this man gets out of office, people gonna have so many lawsuits against the government, and they're gonna win. They're gonna win because so many people's rights have been violated. So many. And if you gather evidence violating rights, you do know in court they have to throw it out because you didn't gather the evidence within the Constitution. There are certain laws in the Constitution that law enforcement has to follow. I don't care if they caught you with a gang of weapons. If they didn't do the search like they're supposed to, I mean, I know they can get around a search warrant bringing the dog. They can do that unless they see it in plain sight. But let's say you had a trunk full of whatever and they just went in your trunk. Not you didn't volunteer them to, but they just went in there searching. Well, them guns, whatever they found, they didn't have a search warrant because you denied, you know, them the search. You didn't give them consent. So you mind if I search your vehicle? Say I don't consent to a search. You don't say yes. You don't say no. You say I don't consent to a search. Now they search you they search the car anyway, and you say you didn't consent to a search and you get a search warrant. Then whatever they find is not admissible, no matter what it is. That's really what the laws are. But right now, you know, the Trump administration feel they can violate all laws and any constitution they want to. And Democrats and Republicans aren't saying anything about it. None of them are saying anything. It lets you know when they talking about, oh, well, we'll never have a authoritarian government. Your Congress is sold out. They're not going to say anything. Congress is supposed to be what? Checks and balances, and they don't say a word because they're afraid. A lot of them are afraid. Well, you know, a lot of them do some dirt too, and they got dirt on them. So they were like, hey, you say something, put out your dirt. Okay, let's see. Chat says Memphis is actually sweet. They just need a mean wake-up call. You say the National Guard would be good for us here. Maybe not Chicago or D.C., but Memphians, you say, are cool AF, and they say this one is wanted here. Yeah, I'm telling you, I know Memphis got crime. Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. I'm not denying that part of it. I'm not denying it. And if they get the ones off the streets who's committing the crimes and Memphis go to be safe, hey, cool. No problem. I don't take an issue with that. I just don't like when people are harassed who's innocent. I don't like that. You say send the engineer corps too? Yeah, but they not looking to do all that. They talking about crime. And then, you know, I heard him mention New Orleans too. So New Orleans may be getting it too eventually. I know he mentioned Chicago. I think I say, why did he pivot from Chicago? I kept thinking because Chicago was on his list. Like, why did he pivot? You know, I'm thinking because, you know, it's going to be more of an uphill climb. But ICE can go in there. ICE is in Chicago doing their thing. I don't know if you heard about that, but ICE ended up shooting and killing one of the immigrants. Because they said, basically, I saw the video. They were trying to, you know, they pull him over and trying to get him out of the car. And basically the immigrant took off. And so the ICE officer started shooting. And that's what ended up happening with that situation. So, yeah, ICE is, they are in Chicago. National Guard isn't, but ICE is in Chicago. And they are looking for him. And that's what really the deal with that. I don't know anything about these new wrestlers, Cameron. I don't know anything about these new wrestlers. I used to watch wrestling long ago when The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin was wrestling. I don't watch this new stuff. I try to glance at it here and there, and it's not entertaining like it used to be. You know, so I don't watch any of that. Matter of fact, there's a lot of sports I don't even watch. I did watch the Canelo and Crawford fight. I did watch that. That was good. Crawford, he definitely put on the show. That's for sure. That was a good fight because Canelo, man, he was trying to knock him out. I seen Canelo just swinging them big punches. I say he gonna get tired toward the end. You can't keep swinging that hard at somebody boxing and they don't catch up with you in the later rounds. You know, if you're gonna swing that hard, you better connect. and Terrence Crawford, he couldn't do nothing with him. And speaking of Crawford, I saw something I'm gonna talk about. They were talking about his kids because they were saying that, you know, he got 6 kids with his lady, right? And he been with his lady, they say, since the early 2000s, and people like freaking out about them. I'm like, why are you freaking out about? He got 6 kids with his lady, and he's still with her since the early 2000s. I mean, there's a lot of brothers that got kids with their lady. Why is that abnormal? And they stay at the house with their kids. Do you know most men, we talking about most decent brothers, we're not trying to leave our families, man. We're not even trying to leave our ladies like that. Brothers want a decent family too. Brothers want to chill too. It's not always a brother want to chase behind a woman's skirt all the time. I mean, that's immaturity that do that. But there's a lot of brothers just want a decent woman, you know, that hold them down and chill. That's it. You said Judge Joe Brown is in Memphis. And you say, I'm sure he agrees property value is skyrocketing here. Well, yeah, because didn't Elon Musk go try to put his supercomputer over there in Memphis? See, you know what they like to do, right? Oh, this area got crime. Property values are low. The white people go buy it all up low, and then it jacks it up. They jack it up so high because, you know, real estate in this country is racial. So if a bunch of white people buy it, then it's a good property. If a bunch of black people buy it, it's not worth anything. That's why I say it's not. That's why I like AI, because AI sets a lot of that stuff straight. I'm talking about that. That's why they don't even understand how AI gonna be also the speeding up of the unraveling of their system, because AI can't compute that. Well, it has more value because you're white. No. It should have value based on a whole lot of factors, but colors shouldn't be one of them. You say you think all black dudes cheat? I mean, well, shoot, people in general cheat. Men and women cheat, you know, but not everybody do that. I would say the majority of people don't do that. You know, there's a lot of brothers out here just want, like I said, want to come home, chill, You know, as long as the lady don't have an attitude problem, you know, I mean, she bring him some peace in his life or whatever. Man, brothers ain't trying to go nowhere. I'm telling you, it's a lot of brothers who's single and don't even have a woman. You know what I'm saying? And they want one. Believe it or not, they want one, but they want to have the right one, because a woman could bring you some turmoil too. That's for sure. She could bring you some, she could bring you some turmoil. Wouldn't the scriptures teach that it's better to be on a rooftop alone than be in a home with a contentious woman? Scriptures teach that. So yeah, you got a woman bring you some peace. That's the one you want to stay with and keep her. Speak on the crime and murders take place in Memphis. You and your content members ain't gonna do nothing. This person down here, time to read your Bible. That's an interesting screen name. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not federal law enforcement. I'm not local law enforcement. I'm not state law enforcement, and no one in this chat is. Well, somebody maybe could be law enforcement that's watching, but most of us here isn't. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even live in Tennessee. It's not where I'm from. And here in Texas, I'm not in law enforcement. So I don't know why you're saying anything. That doesn't make sense. If you got a problem with crime in your city, well, then go join the police department, or go ask Trump to can you volunteer to help him or something? I don't know. You go and help solve the problem. Saint Nikki, yeah, I seen that, Saint Nikki. I seen that, but that's to be expected. Well, the situation, what happened with old boy, Charlie. The one thing I will say that I did see is a lot of these folks come out that you wouldn't even think that would support what Charlie was saying. And I would say that situation exposed all those closeted folks that y'all think is your friends and your allies. Yeah. Yeah, that situation exposed them. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the stream today. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. It's very, very important. And thank you for listening. We'll catch